Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, the last of the Rambo films. Not the last of the Stallone marathon, there's still quite a bit to get to, but I know I reviewed the Rambo films before, but I need to review these again because I love them. I love the character. It's one of my favorite characters of all time. It's my favorite Stallone character because I love all four films. I don't think there's ever been a bad Rambo film, in my honest opinion. I remember when I first heard about this, I was so excited because, oh my God, a new Rambo film. I was even more, I mean, I was excited for a new Rocky film, but for a Rambo film, 10 times more excited because I love the Rambo film so much. And I remember the first time I saw a trailer to this was the 3-minute trailer on Ain't It Cool News. I think it was in 2007. It was like the summer of 2007. And Ain't It Cool News had this 3-minute trailer and I watched it and I was blown away by the violence. I'm like, oh my God, it's a new Rambo film. And then when, like, the Rambo films are R-rated, but it was, when you think about it, they were bloody in the fact there was blood squibs, but this was even more. He's ripping throats out, he's cutting heads off, he's gunning people like a fish. I went, holy shit! Yes. When I saw, holy fuck! And then I would see more trailers of this, and I saw this in the theater, and it's one of the best times I've had in the theater. Unfortunately, they released it in January in 2008. That's a bad month, so the film did not make too much money, but I saw it in the theater, and I remember the audience loving it. I remember I loved it, and when it got to that third act, and you got the alternate title to this film should be the 50 caliber massacre. I mean, like someone should make that like Rambo. That's not the title. The title is the 50 caliber massacre because that's what it is. It's a 50 caliber massacre of death and blood and guts and holy shitness to the point that I will say right here that ending is one of the best action sequences of all time. Not just of the past 10 years, of all time. That's how I remember how rousing when I saw it in the theater. Even here, just on my TV, I was so pumped. I was so involved. I'm like, holy shit! Yes, you know, whole what the wow! And they can't make a movie like this nowadays. Easily one of the best action films in the past 10 years. It's loved it so much. I know there was a director's cut. I actually prefer the theatrical cut because the director's cut cut out a little bit of violence for some reason. I don't know why. Like when he shoots the guy and he has the guy on the ground when he's on the boat and it's nighttime, he's shooting the guy on the ground. I know a little bit of that's cut out in the director's cut, and there's some stuff added in that I felt wasn't needed. I felt the theatrical cut did it better. And then what's sad, there's a trailer to this film. I know the trailer is about 1 minute and 17 seconds, and in the trailer, there's a moment where Rambo's on that 50 caliber truck, and a guy shoots a bazooka, and Rambo jumps out of the way off the truck, does a turn to get out of the way as the truck explodes. And it looked like a real guy actually doing a flip on the ground while the truck explodes. I thought that looked so cool, and I have no idea why that's not in the movie. It's not in the deleted scenes. It's not in the director's cut. Where is that scene? I don't think anyone has ever asked Stallone on that. If I had a chance, I would love to ask Stallone, where's that scene? That was really cool. That'd be a great capper that, you know, gets out of the way of the bad guy shooting the bazooka and, you know, the truck with the 50 caliber blowing up and he just gets out of the way at the nick of time. I think that would have been great. And never seen that deleted scene. It's only on that one trailer for the film. It has like 1 minute and 17 seconds. When the I know at one time it was going to be called John Rambo, then it was just going to be called Rambo. Yeah, it could have been just called Rambo 4, and that's why I call it Rambo 4. But it doesn't matter. It's still entertaining. It's intense. The bad guys you fucking hate just from what they do. It's not because they have a big personality of memorable dialogue. It's because of their actions. I mean, this movie does not fuck around. It doesn't sugarcoat things. It's not war as heck. It's war as fucking hell, and you're gonna be pushing the toilet for it. As because war stinks. That's right, it stinks. Because people get shot to shit, people get blown up to smithereens, kids get shot, kids get stabbed, kids get picked up and thrown into fucking fires. They find bodies with head on a stick. This poor guy, his legs have been eaten off by pigs. And then when Rambo, he's ripping throats, he's cutting heads off. He has a 50 caliber, and the guy like right in front of him, like right here, and he turns into paste, literal fucking paste that you put on a fucking sandwich, on your toast. And it's ballsy what they did with this. And yeah, I have a few little nitpicks, but they're just more of there's this explosion that happens at the end. Well, not at the end, but before that 50 caliber massacre. And there's some dodgy effects when the sort of debris is following Rambo and he jumps out of the way after explosion. The effect's a little bit dodgy on that scene. This is just a couple stuff knowing this is the last Rambo film. I know there's talks of Rambo 5, but this did end it full circle, so there was no need for it. And yes, I know there's talks of a Rambo reboot. I did a video on that. It's fucking bullshit, but at the same time, I was not surprised. It was a matter of time. But yeah, I mean, it's like, man, I would love to see one more C4 tipped explosive arrow stuff. I would love to see one more Rambo picking people off one by one, like he did in the Force in First Blood and hiding in the mud in Rambo 2. Like, one more time to do that. One more C4 tipped explosive arrow. But the film itself, it's 90 minutes long. It's not long at all. Watching it again, it actually went at a really good pace. Brian Tyler did a great job on the score because, of course, Jerry Goldsmith passed away. And Brian Tyler, big props to you. He kept the themes of Jerry Goldsmith. He had his own stuff, and he did a wonderful job. He did a wonderful job on the score, Brian Tyler. I give a lot of good props to him for that. And taking place at Burma, and where these sadistic bad guys, they make the people run through these landmines, they get blown up, and then the ones who don't get blown up, they get shot. And I love John Rambo in this movie. He's he's the lone man. He's cynical. He's a snake handler. He's visited by these missionaries that wants him to. He's a boatman. They want him to take them upriver to Burma. He's like, it's a war zone. You got any weapons? No. Or you're not changing anything. And I love when Stallone asks, fuck the world. I love that. And because considering Rambo's history, I understand his type of thinking. But the woman played by Julie Benz, she tossed him some more, and he decides that, okay, he's going to take them up the river. Especially when she says, well, trying to save a life isn't wasting yours. We want to do the right thing, even if you don't believe in it. So he takes them on the boat. You have a scene where they face off against Burmese pirates, and I love this scene where Rambo does a quick draw with his pistol. Bam, bam, bam. And he shoots a guy right in the face while he's on the ground. And yeah, there's some CGI enhancements, but watching it again, I did see there's a lot of practical in this. Again, there's some CGI enhancements, but for a lot of it, it's practical. And the CGI enhancements I can deal with as long as you mix it with some goopy goriness, and they definitely have that. And it was just very satisfying to see. And he brings in this one guy who's head of the missionaries, fucks with Rambo. But even Rambo says, they were raped her 50 times and cut their fucking heads off. Who are you? Who are any of you? But the woman appeals to him, and he decides to finish taking them upriver. He comes back and he burns the boat. And the missionaries are in the village, and the village gets attacked. It is just insanity. Again, there people get blown up to bits. Again, some kids are shot, some kids are stabbed, some kids get thrown into a fucking fire. I mean, this movie is not sugarcoating anything. And I appreciate that because this is shit that happens. They don't give a slap on the wrist. They give you a knife to the dick. If they put a bayonet up their ass, they would. And it definitely makes you hate the bad guy so much so that when Rambo gives his God of Fury, the fucking God of War on top of the mountain, it's even more like, yeah, fuck him! Fuck him, Rambo! Yeah! It's that adrenaline pump. And I love the nightmare scene because he included clips of all three Rambo films, and you get to see Richard Crenna in there. I thought that was a really nice touch. That was really cool to see on the big screen, and to this day. He gets visited by the sort of the absolute head guy, the missionaries, saying they've been missing, and he's going to hire mercenaries, and we want you to take the mercs up to where you left the missionaries off. And this also has some really memorable dialogue. Like when Rambo's making his knife, he's like, you know what you are, what you're made of. War's in your blood. Don't fight it. You didn't kill for your country, you killed for yourself. God's never gonna make that go away. When you're pushed, killing's as easy as breathing. I love that line. I think nowadays you don't find a lot of action movies with memorable lines of dialogue, come to think of it. I mean, even the action films you enjoy, you may have some fun dialogue, but really iconic dialogue, you don't find a lot of it. But this has quite a bit. When you're pushed, killing's as easy as breathing, or live for nothing, or die for something. This really has that. And I think Stallone, apparently there was another director who was going to do this, but I don't know what that original director was. Like, who was that? And then it became Stallone. If anyone knows, please feel free to tell me who was the original director for this film before Stallone, like him and Stallone had disagreements and then Stallone became the director. And Stallone did a great job directing this. And I know throughout the years there was talks of many other ideas for Rambo IV, him against Osama bin Laden, one where the kid from Rambo III, the little kid, he became part of like Osama bin Laden's party, became part of that. There was one point where it's going to take place in Mexico and dealing with uh, illegal trafficking of people, kind of like you would see in films like Skin Trade with Dolph Lundgren. But he decided to pick this because Burma was such genocide going on there and no one knew about it. And then the cool thing about this movie is afterward, people know more about Burma, what's going on in Burma. And apparently a lot of Burma rebels really loved Rambo and they used lines of his dialogue and they really used that film to help with their cause. So it's nice that this film did some kind of good as well as being an entertaining as hell movie. But he takes them in on the boat. I love the idea where these mercenaries, they don't know who they're with. And I know, I'm like, this guy's John Rambo. But these guys, like, you have this one guy who's bald-headed talking shit to Rambo. I'm like, man, if you really knew who this guy was, oh shit, man. Like, these guys, they have no idea who they have in their presence. And the mercs get to the village, and they're watching these bad guys make got folks run through the landmines, but Rambo comes in with a bow and arrow, slapping them. And yeah, some of the CGI enhancement is not the best, but it doesn't detract for me loving the scene where he's shooting arrows into this one guy's head, and the arrow comes out of his chin, arrow to one guy's head, and the guy falls on a landmine. Just a badass. And then this the bald-headed merc says we should go, and Rambo just puts his fucking arrow to the guy's eye. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, this one guy was talking trash, Rambo ain't having it. And you get another great dialogue scene where he's like, if you boys want to shoot, now's the time. This isn't one of, there isn't one of us that doesn't want to be someplace else. But this is what we do, who we are. Live for nothing, or die for something. Your call. I'm like, okay, someone tells me that, I'm with them. And they go off and they rescue the remaining missionaries. That's where you find like these pigs eating this poor dead body. Well, now he's dead because his legs got eaten off by fucking pigs. As if it was fucking Hannibal. And you find out that the lead bad guy, not only is he unbelievable sadistic, but he's a fucking pedophile. He has a kid going into his shack. But Rambo gets the girl. He takes this asshole, rips his fucking throat out. Matthew Marsden, I think he does a good job as Schoolboy, who is a sniper. Gets some nice sniping moments, like he takes one guy's top of his head off. He saves Rambo and the girl from getting shot. The three of them go off while the other people went off earlier. Rambo takes a piece of Julie Benz's clothing, tells him to go, he'll lead the dogs away, and he takes a claymore from Schoolboy, and he puts it on this old bomb that was left there from back in the day, and he runs. The bad guys get there, they blow to smithereens, and you have the effect of the sort of wave of debris following Rambo, and then Rambo jumps out of the way. It's not the best CG, I'll give you that, but for me, that's a nitpick, because the rest of the film is so fucking good, especially the scene coming up. This scene, man, this scene was a mind blower in the theater. It really was. Because, like, the other guys, mercenaries and some of the missionaries, they're ready to get killed, and Rambo, I love the shot where you have the bad guy here, and Rambo's like, I can't do it. Like, he just chops the fucker's head off. 50 caliber, guys like this far away turns into fucking ketchup, fucking ketchup for your sandwich, and just is the god of war on top of the mountain, king of the mountain, just killing everybody. He kills the entire continent of bad guys. I mean, it's insanely satisfying. Again, the alternate title of this film is the 50 caliber massacre. It is the 50 caliber massacre. And the other mercenaries, they shoot bad guys. Schoolboy sniping people, getting headshots, and Rambo just was 50 caliber. Then the rebels come in with their explosives. Then the bad guys both come in to fry them, and Rambo all the time is huge hits. And there's some CG enhancements, but there's a lot of practical in there as well. Which was great to see. Just the carnage and mayhem that you never get to see in movies nowadays. That's why when I look at some of these Expendables sequels, and I go, why isn't this type of action in Expendables 2 or Expendables 3? Why? You look at Rambo 3, Rambo 3. Yeah, well, Rambo 3, that ending, which is badass. You look at the ending of Rambo 4. Now you look at the ending at Expendables 3, and it's night and fucking day. Again, you watch the ending of Rambo 4, then watch the ending of Expendables 3. It's night and fucking day. And, he gets shot, but then this truckload of people, and he's like, and wastes all of them, turns them all into smithereens. Literally fucking nothing but bits and chunks of meat. And then unloads on this boat, and the Schoolboy shoots people with a sniper rifle, and the rebels blow it up with a bazooka, and just unloading, and then gets to the bad guy, the lead bad guy guts him, and just, and then kicks him down. I love the piece of music that Brian Tyler used in that scene as well. Love that. A great last shot when he's on top of the mountain looking down all the remains, and Julie Benz goes to her friend, and just seeing all that's left. And the way it ends is perfect. Like they say in Rambo 3, it's full circle. Where at the beginning of First Blood, we see him on the road. At the ending of this film, he's on the road with his bag, but he goes home. I always like to imagine that if went 5 minutes more, he would go in and it would be Clint Eastwood sitting there with like a whiskey. I could buy that. Clint Eastwood is Stallone's son. I don't know when Clint Eastwood was born and when Stallone was born, so maybe it wouldn't be age appropriate, but so yeah. But fuck it, I'd buy it. I don't even know how old. Like I know Stallone's in his 70s. How old is Clint Eastwood? I know it's a stupid notion, but I'm just curious. 86 years old. So he's only about, well, maybe 15, 16 years older. Well, there's many other movies that fate that anyway, so you just say, yeah, he had him when he was 20. But I mean, Rambo Goes Home, you have a nice take on It's a Long Road, but music score-wise by Brian Tyler. It is a full circle. When you watch all these films in a marathon, where it starts, it ends, only this time he does get to go home and make peace with himself. And that was perfect. Not some pretentious bullshit where he dies. That's why I like Logan, but it has nothing on Rambo. I mean, I like Logan. I liked it, but it doesn't beat Rambo for a perfect ending and a full circle. I There you go. Just, I mean, other than a few little nitpicks, I love this movie. I'm glad Stallone got to do it, and it's one of the last great. To be honest, one of the last great movies Stallone has made. And hey, I'm glad it was not a disappointment. It was far from it. It was a joy to watch in the theater. It's fucking badass to watch at home. And the Blu-ray looks great. The picture and the sound, fantastic. So I don't like the director's cut. I prefer the theatrical cut, like I said before. And yeah, the insane action, the 50 caliber master finale. I think Stallone does a great job performance-wise as a guy who's cynical and understandable, against some memorable lines of dialogue. I thought people like Julie Benz, Matthew Marsden, the mercenaries, they did fine. The villains were, you really wanted to hate them just by their sadistic actions. I like that it pulled no punches. It was not, PC. It was hardcore. It's a hardcore movie. It's a hardcore, bloody as fuck film, and that's the way it should be, because you can't sugarcoat some of this stuff. You really can't, and it should not have been sugarcoated, and I'm glad it wasn't. And one of the best action finales of all time. Seriously, I really mean that. And that is my end to the Rambo films. I still have quite a few Stallone films to get to, but I love the Rambo films. I really do. It's my favorite film franchise. I love all four of them very much. It'd be Rambo 2, 3, 4, then 1. And that's nothing against First Blood. It's just I love them all. And it was a lot of fun to watch these again. Again, my favorite action series of all time. My favorite movie franchise of all time. Again, I don't think there's ever been a bad Rambo film. And it's a long road. It's hard as hell. But it was a joy to watch. Love this series to death. Really do. So thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you with more reviews for the Sylvester Stallone marathon. See you later.